don't even understand how that game works. You
okay, all right. Well, let me ask you this.
understand your fucking friend. It's kind of like what you said about if the white folks or whoever can't understand that they're trying to kill one of the species off the planet that it affects their own species and probably all the other species in a chain reaction like a cycle, that you can't do that. You said that they are the one that's a threat to the ecology. So by black people not helping each other, they just a threat to themselves. Because your friend has to have a business and own some commercial property for him, for you to be able to rent from him. And him to look at you and say, oh yeah, you're my friend, I don't have to charge you a lot of rent. Then you'll have to own a business right here in LA. Watch this, I've seen it recently. The brother, I think I told you the story, he had the barbershop. He had it fixed up so nice and sorry. It was like just this wonderful, look like fucking Cheers, that fucking TV show when you walk in Cheers. That's how the barbershop looked. All the nice people in there having a good time, everybody working. And he had it like where he was selling hats and ties, and he was selling cologne. He had all these nice little things. It was like a shop, you know. Cable TV and shit set up. We had like wood motif that he had put in there. But he's written from the fucking Jew. So here's the thing. I'm in there 1 week and this shop is doing all good and looking all good. I swear 3 days later I went by there. It looked like the Jew had just threw him out. Threw him out. Like no discussion. I was like, damn. How's the nigga in business and it looks like he's operating, and then 3 days later, I swear he was down the street at another empty-ass building putting all his shit in there, and it was so sad because he had lost all the beauty of his shop that he had fixed up.
See, let me tell you. Let me elaborate. Let me elaborate.
Didn't give a fuck.
Let me elaborate on that, all right? Let me tell you something. This is what happened.
His rent was so bad, then he got kicked out, but he was able to move into another spot right down the street.
But see, this is what happened.
Bullshit.
Let me tell you what happened.
Go ahead.
See, I guarantee you, when the new business opened up, it was owned by Españols.
Yep, no shit, huh?
That's what they do.
You mean the one that took over his shop?
Of course.
Oh, no shit, huh?
Listen, let me tell you what it's called, man. See, the Europeans declined in numbers. They fell off because of their sterility.
Right.
So since they didn't have enough people to stay in the immediate sector of monitoring and being on top of where stores were going to be popping up, what you was able to do was have black people disguised as non-black people open up a lot of businesses. Okay, this is what I mean. Say I got $150,000 real quick today, all right? What I could do as a smart businessman is go to a really well-off white neighborhood and get me a white person to buy the house that's a good friend of mine that I know I can trust. After he purchased the house, the neighbors see me and my family move our black asses in there, right? So now the neighbors is fucked up because they saying, how did that happen? Well, because this was a smart black man. He used his money and the influence of white people to get a white man to buy the house. And now he moved into the house. He's going to put heavy duty insurance on the house with the help of the white man because he knows that the neighbors on this block is going to look at him living next door to them as what they've been trying to get away from all their life. And so now he can double up on that house by selling it back to the neighbors on that block and saying, okay, well, you motherfuckers don't want me to live here. I paid $150,000 for the house. You give me $250,000. Right, and I'll get the fuck out of here. And they will buy it because they have block clubs and everything that's supposed to be working in their defense.
Oh, yeah, we gotta get this nigga off the block.
That's right. Now, here's the deal. Let me finish. So now where they go now is that when this guy got the house, they buy him out so he can leave. So now they say, okay, we got to stop this from happening. So this is what they do. They say, what we're going to do is in order to stop people from using white people to make money off of the ignorance of white people, because that's the thing about it. If you really want to make money in this world,
make a movie about that. Wow.
Yeah, let me finish, bro, because now when I be dropping this, it be coming from the spirit, right?
Yeah.
Now watch this. When you have a system where you're supposed to have one sector of people that's all supposed to be involved with making sure that their best interests always stay first, but then you have a common hierarchy that's fuck those people too and give those people no other choice but to be able to go out and think for themselves, and they in position as far as complexions go to be able to take an advantage of a system that's set up that way. So here they go. They come to black people and say, listen, this is what we gonna do. I'm gonna buy the house and we gonna make double the money off of this shit, because after I buy the house, I'm gonna let you and your family move in there. And you just stay there and let me do my thing. No matter what nobody say, I got you. This is the normal way to happen. So they say, well, this is what we gonna do. We gonna stop this bullshit. We're actually going to take these white people and put them beneath, as to where we have more control over them. Because we see what they'll do. They don't know how to stay in line and understand how to honor the privilege that they have. So what we're going to do, we're going to take their privilege away. Not to mention they fell off in numbers and that they're just lazy. And the only thing they really want to do with their opportunity for growth is use it to hate blacks. We got to do something other than this, because this is not what we wanted. We wanted them to be aggressive and go out and create more business and buy things and run up their credit in it, but they didn't. They didn't do that. So what they did is they looked at all these poor ass Mexicans down in Mexico and thought to themselves, now these people is living really, really impoverished over here because we did it to them. We know why they're broke, because we did it. But then here's the other thing they thought about. They say, but they're a little bit more involved with our white God than the niggas is. Because the niggas in America, they still, for some reason, got their own concept of who they are inside of them. No matter how much we beat them and stomp them, they still got their spirituality. But now the essays down in Mexico and everything is easily more manipulated. So they are more easy to mold and fabric into becoming the desirable people that they want. They listen, them motherfuckers is more white than white people. You know that. You lived in LA with them, right, with me. You tell them, man, you have white and you have black. You get your ass beat, and it's like, come on, go to the mirror with me. Look, man, your skin is the same color. How can you look at me as being black and not see yourself as being black? But for some reason, it's going on in that head of theirs. You know that as well as I do, so we ain't gonna waste time on that. My point being this. Here's my point. What you just talked about them moving the black guy out of his shop, is because he had got set up in there under disguise. But when the person who owned the place was hearing story about this guy doing so good in your store, he said, bullshit, that is not a black business. He's never probably even been there before. This fucker say, okay, you go over there and see for yourself. This guy will walk up in there and see what's going on and have a damn fit. Because his whole thing is to make sure that the black man does not succeed. Now he done got the black woman to help him and everybody on this planet to help him make sure that the black man meets his demise as quick as possible and have nothing but sorrow, tears, and bloodshed every waking moment on this fucking earth. Then all of a sudden he go and see a black person doing so well in one of his own shops. Man, heads will roll. So he told dude, no, you got to get the fuck out of here today. And then paid him too, I bet you, to move up. Because dude otherwise would have said, well, I'll tell you what, unless it was some circumstances where he was all behind his reading and everything, but you just said that wasn't the case because you sat up in there and saw ducks and shit flying on, birds and all kind of stuff going on in there. So he was making it. The dude paid him. He paid him. Listen, I'm going to do something else with this store. I'll pay you, man, and woo. Or the dude, whatever it was, that maybe he had another arrangement with somebody else that came at him and got at him and said, listen, man, I know me and you had something worked out and you've been doing good, but dude done came down on me, man, and I got to do what he tell me to do. Either whatever the circumstance, the dynamics was, what happened was he had a chance to run with it while it was good, but when they saw that nigga coming up, just like me, I had those 2 trucks. And they saw me coming up and doing good. I got into a position where I was going to make $200,000 a year. Man, they pulled me out of my truck, pushed me through all kind of bullshit, sent me through 4 states in handcuffs, put me back in Hawaii, put me in jail 45 days, and then I get in front of the fucking judge, and then they tell me, case dismissed, but I done lost my 2 jobs. I owe all this money to the bank. They literally ruined me. Just ruined me. The bank still want their money even though they repossessed the trucks. All my contracts that I had, I owe them money because when they pulled me out of my truck, the load that was in my trailer stayed in the damn police impoundment, all that old bullshit that they put me through just to ruin me. You know, just to ruin me. You know what I'm saying? And then I'm sitting there now saying that they when they did that to me, they did it to all the white people too. All the white people that had made them be in a position where they could fuck me real good the way they did right there. They fucked all those white people too. It's like this. Me and you going out robbing people. You my road dog. We robbing people all the damn time together, and then I know when you stash your money that you done got from all these robberies we did together, then I come and shoot you in the back and steal your shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's what they doing.
That's what's going on, man. That's what's going on. So the world we live in like that is because the people that's governing us, man, and then our woman. Now I'm gonna break it to you like it need to be broken, cause I want you to do me a favor.
What?
Me and you was talking a while back, and you was telling me what that guy told you about those winos and those derelicts disappearing. Now, this is my point is this. We know why the men is disappearing, because we know they're killing us, locking us up in prison, making us be homosexuals, everything they can to make us decline as fast as possible. We don't see a decline in our women though. If as far as the population of the melanated people in America go, I bet you there's 3 black women to every black man, even though you don't see that, because a lot of the reason is because most of them put those wigs on and they go on the other side with Mexicans and whites, and you don't see them. But Bobby Hemmings say that it's the black man defecting from the black woman, but that's not true. The black woman is leading the black man into spiritual religions that is making this black man have diabetes and all other kind of sicknesses, because he's worshiping a dead God, and so he ends up dying faster than her, because she is already blessed, because she came here under a feminine gender to begin with. But don't let me get off track. But what I want you to do is tell me the story that you told me about those white guys who told you they used to go feed those homeless people and they came. Just tell me that story. And at the same time, I want you to remember what I was saying to you about how our black women have traded us out so bad. And when you start telling the story, I want you to try to see in your mind how something like this could only happen is if someone who was on watch went to sleep and didn't care what happened. All right, let me hear that. Tell me that story again, please.
Yeah, so I was listening to the radio, and they were talking about the Republican convention down south somewhere in the city. And there was an organization that was feeding some homeless people and bombs. And they were in this area where they were going to have the convention. So the people were thinking about, oh, wow, they're going to have a convention. Let's go down and check those people, make sure they're all right, because they know the police will be harassing them or whatever. So 3 days before the convention, they were there, they fed them or what have you, or like a week before. Then a few days before the convention, they went back down there, and the people were gone. All of them were gone. It was like, dude, was like, where did they go? How did they disappear? And they didn't know where they had went. They didn't know if the police had picked them up and took them or whatever, but they knew the convention was going to start. And all the homeless people and bums and winos that would have been in the way, at least a couple hundred, they were all gone, disappeared. So, yeah, for that to be happening, you know, even for our black scholars to be talking about, like Bobby Hemmings mentioned, you know, people disappearing. You could Google people disappearing, you'll find some weird stuff. Our black women just ignore everything, man. You know, our people disappearing, they ignoring that. And then, you know, the fact that this whole system is set up for our youth, and that's the pride of their womb. They have a system set up for the pride of the black woman's womb to end up in prison. That's like why haven't the black woman stood up and just totally put a stop to that by rethinking their belief system and reteaching their children. That's it.
I totally agree. And about the people that disappeared, where were their mothers at? Where were they homeless? Why do we have a society where you have men that should be responsible for taking care of their families that they're connected to, but for some reason you got a man? Now listen to what I'm saying here. Strong